Hey everyone, today I review my new suspension setup tuned by Scott Ahlman of Ohlin Performance. Scott is a suspension tuner who originally worked on the 2005-2006 Ford GT chassis suspension. He's been tuning race cars for over 28 years, leading chassis development for IndyCar, NASCAR, kart, and IMSA teams. So clearly Scott knows his craft. Scott offers a tuned suspension package focused on the track or street with occasional track use using the Ohlins TTX shock absorbers. With the Ohlins system, I can dial up or dial down the dampening and rebound rates for either street or track. For context, the Ohlins TTX series were originally designed purely for the track, and Scott figured out that's not what most R8 owners wanted. Most R8 owners wanted to use their R8 for weekend drives in the back roads with the occasional track use. Therefore, Scott developed a package tuned for this exact use case. I fit that demographic. I wanted to have a sporty drive on the street with the ability to have fun on the back roads and on the track. If you're not familiar with Ohlins, they are one of the premium suspension companies on the planet. There is no doubt an Ohlins suspension will transform my car going from Audi's magnetic ride system. However, with any aftermarket suspension, you need to tune it to your goals. And I believe you can have the best suspension money can buy, but if you don't tune it to your goals of what you want in your car, it's going to perform subpar. You can't simply bolt on an aftermarket suspension and expect an optimized ride right after the install. Therefore, my review will focus on Scott's tune and how well he promised to deliver on these key points. Stock ride comfort with less harshness, more direct and linear steering, improving overall steering, improved balance consistency, improved power down, improved grip and handling, all the while giving you greater confidence and connection. Scott's tune delivered. The car rides firmer and handles like it's on rails. However, the ride is not overly damped and does not ride harshly. It's the perfect setup for a street setup with occasional back roads and track days. I was not disappointed. So let's review specifically how the car handles on the street. Note that my magnetic ride suspension system were 14 years old, so any new suspension will make any car feel like new again. However, the magic happens in the spring rates, damping, and rebound that Scott tunes for you. Scott's tune allows the struts to be sporty yet street compliant. Okay, so first point, stock ride comfort with less harshness. Yes, the suspension is definitely firmer than the mag rides on normal setting, but not harsh and over-damped compared to the mag rides on sport mode. Whenever I go over a slight bump in the road, the shock is not harsh and jolting, but more rounded, how Scott describes it. This is a result of the progressive damping system that Ohlins had. So instead of sharp shocks down my spine in mag ride sport mode that I felt whenever I went over a bump, I now felt more predictable dampened bumps in the road. Now, let's talk about back roads, how the car felt on twistier roads. Note that I kept the street setting when I tested the car on the back roads. I plan to test the track setting on Angeles Crest Highway and talk about that experience in another video review. So this is where the fun begins. Let's move on to the second point, improved steering with more direct and linear feeling. Yes, when I pushed the car on higher speeds, the car felt so stable, firm, and compliant, and completely followed where I turned. On my mag rides, the car seemed like it had a lag whenever I turned, and I had to dial down my speed a bit to help control for the over-damped mag rides in sport mode. I don't have to make minor steering corrections anymore, thus giving me much more confidence in the corners now. Third point, improved balance consistency. Yes, As I took these twisty roads, there were no unpredictable dives, pitches, or rolls as I brake hard into a corner or accelerate out of the apex. The car remained flat as I braked, remained flat as I turned, and remained flat as I accelerated out of a corner. On to the fourth point, improved power down. What does that mean? Matching the right damping, rebound, along with appropriate spring rates allowed the car to squat into the suspension, improving how much power is put down to the road. So yes, there was much more improved power down since the suspension made the car so much more stable as I accelerated. Next point, improved grip and handling. As I gained more confidence on the back roads with these new suspension, I continued to push the car harder and harder every corner. And I noticed something that I never felt before, front end grip. The more I pushed, the more I felt my front end grab the road and launch the car out of the apex. The car handles like it's on rails now. Literally, for me, that's what it feels like. And this was the biggest epiphany for me. I felt the front tires on the all-wheel drive system grip the road as I turn and accelerate the car out of the apex. It was an amazing feeling to feel that connection with the car and with the road. Which leads to my final point on these back roads. It gave me such much greater confidence and connection. So with the improved leaner feel, balanced consistency, improved grip and power down, I can now feel grip on the car and have better and predictable awareness of how I'm controlling the car. It's a totally different game now with these new suspension system, along with Scott's specific tune. All of these improvements led to a huge improvement with my confidence and connection to the road. I can feel the tires gripping the road as I accelerate out of the corner now. I did not have that feeling whatsoever on my old stock suspension. Frankly, I wasn't aware that you could push so much front grip of an all-wheel drive system. It's such a big difference now, and this setup will allow me to improve my connection to the road and my track times for sure. So did Scott's tune deliver on all of his promises? Absolutely. This is the suspension that should have come from the factory. I'm glad I found Scott, and I'm really happy with my purchase from him. He takes care of procuring the Ohlins shocks and the springs, installs the springs, and sets the appropriate damping and rebound rates. All you have to do is install them. It's just plug and play and away you go. So that's it for my review of Scott's tune on the Ohlins TTX shocks on the default street settings. I aim to tackle some canyon roads soon, and we'll come back with my review of the track setting. See you in the next video.